In this video, I talk about why being vulnerable is stupid. How many times do you hear people who have said, I made myself vulnerable and then I got hurt? And what I want to say to you is here's why this is a problem. Because we want to be open and authentic and real and all this stuff, but you don't want to be vulnerable. Vulnerable means that somebody can use it against you. And here's the thing, I'm not good at a lot of stuff, but one of the things that I know I'm really good at is not giving a shit about what the wrong people think of me. I have people in my life who are in my life because I care what they think. They speak into my life as authority figures. They have the authority and credibility and results to speak into my life. But there's all kinds of people who are critics and cynics and this and that every single person has, that they really aren't qualified. They're not qualified enough for me to take their opinion on anything. Because they're living an average, ordinary life. They can't justify why they think what they think, but they think what they do anyways. And I spend zero time trying to convince them otherwise that I'm right. I just don't care. Somebody comes up to me and they say, for instance, I can be abrasive and all this stuff. They come up and they say, hey, Jay, you're an asshole. I'll say, yeah, you're right. Thanks for your feedback. Why? Because it's like the principle of if I was to sit there and try to argue with them and justify and explain to them and make them try to think and see things the way I see it, I'm just creating a controversy and I'm actually going to cause them to strengthen their own position against me. And it's just a waste of time. I don't have time for it. But the other thing is that as soon as you acknowledge whatever they say and you don't care about trying to, correct their thinking and their opinion, because I don't care. Do I answer to you? I don't care that you think that. So be it. There's lots of people who think that. There's lots of people who think otherwise. They've taken the time to get to know me. I can act like an asshole. That doesn't mean I am an asshole. You can act like you do in certain ways. That doesn't mean that's who you are. We function according, there's all kinds of factors: stress, frustration, happiness, all these different things that weigh on us that help us, when we're at peace, we act way differently. And this is the human struggle. I get this. So it's an understanding of how we are, and not being, people are so susceptible to what other people say about them. It's crazy. So, I'm open and honest and vulnerable and real about my struggles and my stuff because I want other people to see it and say, wow, I'm not alone. Somebody else is going through this as well. Because I never want to portray the contrary to that, because that doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help any of you whatsoever. Every single one of us has our struggles and challenges and difficulties. And one of my favorite quotes on this subject was from in the book, The New Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, one of the best mindset books you'll ever read. In it, he talks about how he was quoting somebody who was talking on this subject of not caring what people think. And the guy basically said, when you realize that everybody else around you is just putting up a front and wearing and has this facade, and you recognize it's just a bunch of garbage, then it makes it easier to be at peace with yourself, because you realize nobody's different than you. You might struggle with something that I'm good at, but I struggle at something that this is just how it is. And so the only way that you can be vulnerable when you're open and honest and authentic with people is when you allow what they say to have something against you, when you allow them to use it against you. But when you're at peace with your past, when you're at peace with the fact that you have faults and shortcomings like all 7 billion people on this planet, and how somebody responds to you is not your problem, then it makes it much easier. Because think about this. It's not your problem, not your issue, how people respond to you. I always think about this. Back when I was like 22 years old, one of my mentors in business said, Jay, if somebody has a problem with you, they have a problem. And I use the same principle as true for myself, because when I recognize that I have a hard time with somebody, I recognize I have a hard time with them. This is a problem that I have, not a problem that they have. I should be able to respond to everybody with grace and with patience and understanding and empathy. But unfortunately, I can't. And neither can others towards me. And how somebody responds to me is not my problem. It's an indication of whether or not I'm going to give any energy to this person, whether or not I'm going to open up myself to their suggestions and opinions. and I'm not going to do it under those circumstances, and neither should you.